Well, at this point, we are being joined from INEC Results Collation Center in Benin City by our rights correspondent Charles Heruka for an overview of all that transpired yesterday and through the night, as well as what to expect today. Good morning, Charles. Charles, good to have you join us. How's it going there?
How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday to you.
Well, so far, so pretty good at the moment here at the INEC Collation Center, the State Collation Center in Benin City. Well, all is calm. We have a battery of cameras behind me and in front of me here. The media is ready and waiting to tell the world how the elections, the governorship election in Edo State has panned out. Well, last night, there was a lot of drama here, and the result of it is that the People's Democratic Party at this moment are preparing to, if not holding a press briefing to air their grievances about the conduct of the elections. Now, yesterday, the conduct of the polls itself was relatively peaceful because the security presence here in Edo State ensured that there was no major breach of peace, so to say. It was as if the entire security apparatus of Nigeria was moved to Edo State. But it is in the aftermath that we probably might be having issues because everyone is complaining, well, talking about the big two or the big three. The APC accusing the PDP of trying to manipulate the election results. The People's Democratic Party, on the other hand, also accusing the All Progressives Congress of trying to manipulate the results. So who is doing what? Well, yesterday or last night, if I say last night, that means the late hours of last night and the early hours of this morning, the People's Democratic Party's deputy governorship candidates, that's the running mate to Governor Asue Igodalo Osarodion, was here and, well, outside here actually. And that's when he made that accusation. We actually had him on a live show, on our live show. And of course, he did make that accusation boldly that the All Progressives Congress was in some way trying to manipulate the election results. Meanwhile, the governor, Godwin Obaseki, was here at the INEC headquarters, and he did meet with the INEC officials and some of the leading security chiefs on the ground here. It was a meeting that lasted about an hour and a half. I believe the governor was also trying to air his own grievances. Outside the gate as well, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Asue Igodalo, was also out there. They were not allowed to come in here, you know, for obvious reasons. So let's just say it was a climate of accusations and counter-accusations between the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. You know that there's this story that has gone viral that the governor attempted to bribe the Independent National Electoral Commission with $5 million. Now, that is yet to be authenticated, so we really don't know, but that's the story making the rounds. And the deputy governorship candidate of the APC, the running mate to the APC candidate, Monday Okwebolo, Mr. Osarodion, was also here. He was also caught on video, which has also gone viral, demanding that the governor should come out of the INEC headquarters. What is he doing here? He was asking. So that, in a nutshell, was the drama that played out at the INEC headquarters in the dead hours of the night. Anyway, this morning, it is all calm and peaceful. Most of the people we have here are members of the Fourth Estate of the Real, my colleagues in the media. And we also have some of the collation officers for the Independent National Electoral Commission, bringing back the results that were collated from the local government collation centers. Those who were not able to make it last night have been trickling in this morning. I've already seen like 4 of those trucks bringing in the results collated from the local government areas. I earlier spoke to an agent of one of the parties, the ZDP to be precise, and he told me that while they were there at the collation centers at the local governments, an order had come from above that all of them should move the materials to the INEC headquarters. That's the State Collation Center here in Benin City. Well, to him, it was a rather strange instruction, but I am sure if that kind of instruction came, then it was for security reasons, particularly for those areas that they said might just be volatile.
All right, then. Thank you, Charles, for bringing us up to speed and even just being on ground covering the election so far. Well, let's talk about what role that the security agencies played throughout the elections as well as overnight. And has their presence been adequate in ensuring a peaceful collation process, particularly in areas that were flagged as potential hotspots for electoral violence? We did hear that certain people were arrested with arms and ammunition at the polling units. Please bring us up to speed based on that security element of the elections.
Now, that is to be expected. I did mention the fact that almost the entire security apparatus of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is here in Benin City. Well, that might just be an exaggeration, but the state of security here, the security presence here has actually been pretty heavy. For instance, when we were heading to Essence Central yesterday to cover the APC governorship candidate and the elections in that area, we ran into several roadblocks mounted by soldiers and policemen and members of the NSCDC, and at every turn, even with our tags, our election coverage tags, we were stopped and searched thoroughly. At all the polling units, you also had a reasonable security presence. So for the polling units we did visit, we did not have any incidents because the security agents were there in full combat gear. And there were also some of the units that were roving, going from one place to another to ensure that if there were any incidences of the breakdown of law and order, they would provide additional support. So that's basically how it was. Of course, you know that in elections like these, there are some people who definitely would want to test the might of the government or the security agencies, as the case might be. And so for those who were arrested, yes, of course, it was maybe foolhardy on their part, given what we saw about the presence of the security services in Edo State. Indeed, there were also stories of disruptions at some of the collation centers where tear gas had to be fired in order to restore law and order and normalcy, meaning that some people can actually get that desperate in spite of the fact of the heavy presence of security. And let's just say that security has actually been pretty much adequate here in Edo State. At least from the security standpoint, the elections did go fine. Yeah. Lagos.
All right, Charles, it's good to hear that. I mean, having peace in Edo State was one of the things that we did campaign for, and it's good to hear that it was relatively peaceful yesterday. Now, Charles, given that about 93% of the results have been uploaded on IREV, are you impressed by the transmission? Have you been able to view the portal? We understand that the All Progressives Congress has claimed victory in about 13 out of the 18 local government areas. What do you make of the whole transmission process? Because I believe that they were uploaded right from the polling units.
Oh, yes, they were uploaded and were actually following the progress. But of course, talking about winners or losers, yes, of course, it is a transparent process given the fact that they have been uploaded online. But you know, and I know, that the final announcement will have to come officially from the Independent National Electoral Commission. But what that does for elections in Nigeria, if this is replicated when we have general elections, would be that the confusion about the outcome of the result would be reduced by at least 70%. So we are still awaiting, because it's not done and dusted yet. There could be some twists and turns at this moment, but then we are waiting for the final announcement of the results from the electoral umpire.
All right, Charles, two quick questions from me here. Take us through what the collation process will be like from 10 a.m. today. Will it be a fait accompli when the officers of INEC come in? 18 local governments are involved. How, what's the shape of the collation and the announcement going to be like? That's one. Secondly, let's take out rumors and innuendos and unsubstantiated claims out of it. But what did you actually observe regarding the stories about Governor Baseki storming the INEC office and DIG Frankenba ordering him out? Is there anything that you guys witnessed or that you witnessed directly in terms of the governor going to the INEC office and then being ordered out by DIG Frankenba?
Let me start with the second question. Indeed, the governor was here at the INEC office, and indeed, the IG Frankenba was here at the INEC office. But then the issue of the governor being ordered out, we cannot say for sure because they were inside the resident electoral commissioner's office, and that was completely off limits to us, the media, and the non-major stakeholders. So whatever happened behind closed doors, we are definitely not privy to. But what I can tell you is that it was a meeting that lasted over an hour and a half. So it meant that the discussions probably were diplomatic, and if anybody was ordered out, then it probably took a long time for that order to be obeyed. But I am very sure at the PDP press conference that would also be addressed. But as for Frankenba ordering the governor out of the INEC headquarters here, I am sure that must have been a bit of an exaggeration. Well, they did hold discussions, but I am sure it was much more cordial than what is being let out there. Now, as for the collation of results, indeed, the collation officers, let's agree that collation actually takes place at the local government headquarters. The resident electoral commissioner and his officials would be taking their place here at 10 a.m. First of all, they'll have to cross the T's, dot the I's, and ensure that all the figures tally. Because if there is going to be any difference between what they have on hard copy and what has been uploaded online, if there's going to be any major difference, then rest assured that there will also be a reaction which would not be so pleasant. So they'll have to make sure that everything tallies properly before the final announcement of the results. As it is, we are aware that many of the local government collation centers did turn in their results late last night. For those of them who were not able to, they are still arriving. And as we wait their arrival, at 10 a.m., we are also sure that everyone would have been here and properly represented, and that exactly is when we would now get to hear the announcements of the final results that were collated, are being collated, or have been collated. Lagos.
Charles, thank you so much for that. I want to ask you how the political parties and the candidates have been reacting so far to the results being collated. Have there been any notable disputes or claims of irregularities from any of the camps? And if so, how are they being addressed by INEC? Also, I wonder if there are any regions or local government areas. I mean, we do know about 93% of the results have been uploaded, but that 7% that is missing, has there been a delay in certain areas or a disruption, perhaps?
Okay, let me start with that. The delays would probably be due to the fact that these are local governments that are actually far-flung. They are very far away from the center, Benin City. And you know that collation takes a bit of time. So for them to have left their locations overnight to Benin City would have been a major risk. So they actually had to stay until it was reasonably safe for them to move from the local collation centers to the state collation center. So the ones that are not yet here, they had to delay coming here for security reasons mainly. You know, despite the fact that we have heavy security presence, but in the dead of the night, it is actually a bit of a challenge trying to maintain and sustain security. Now, talking about disputes about the conduct of the election, well, we've not heard so much from the Labour Party, but like I earlier mentioned, between the People's Democratic Party and the APC, the All Progressives Congress, yes, there's been a lot of saber rattling, a lot of rhetoric that's been combative. So, if the APC has been accusing the People's Democratic Party of trying to bribe the electoral umpire, and the People's Democratic Party, on the other hand, accusing the All Progressives Congress of in some way manipulating the process, then, you know, it is between the big two. These allegations are not exactly substantiated because whatever happened did not happen in full public glare. But we believe that the Independent National Electoral Commission would be addressing those concerns right here in this hall, in spite of what the two political parties are telling the public. But that's also to be expected because, you know, there's also the court of public opinion first before probably they start seeking redress in the court of law after the announcements might have been announced, after the results, rather, might have been announced.
All right, Charles, before we let you go for now, we'd like to talk to us about if there is any meat to the allegations by the running mate to the PDP candidate, Barrister Ogie, regarding how officers of his party were denied access at the collation center last night. That's one. And then very quickly, the fake journalist that was arrested yesterday, who is he? How did he manage, you know, to get into the mix of the whole matter? And what has happened? What has become of his matter now?
Well, for that one, he has been arrested and he is with the security services. Well, he might be charged to court, whatever decision they decide to take. But yes, that has actually been adequately addressed by the security forces. Now, talking about Osarodion Ogie's accusation, this place is not a public access place. You must have an access tag and probably the right identification to be allowed here. Even if you're members of the Independent National Electoral Commission, even if you're members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, you must be properly accredited, you must be properly tagged, you must be properly identified. So for those who were not supposed to be here, then definitely they would be denied access. But I assure you, if you were properly identified, if you had the proper identification tags, then there was no reason for anybody to be denied access into the secretariat last night. So if the PDP governor's running mate made that allegation, then if anybody was denied access to this place, it was because they had no right of access to the State Collation Center. And you know that where the officials of the two major parties are concerned, if you decide to allow access to just any Tom, Dick, and Harry, then rest assured that the result would be chaos. So, if he said that officials of his party were denied access, that's because they were probably not identified, not properly tagged, and not properly accredited to gain access to the State Collation Center. That's that.
Again, commendations to the security forces if that is the case. I mean, the PDP have made several allegations, including suppression of votes. They claim that, you know, there was suppression in about 3 key populous LGAs, Oredo, Ego, and Ikpoba Oka area. What was your observation in those areas? What are you hearing about that?
Well, that area was actually covered by my colleague Ovieteme George, and he would have better perspective of that. But going by our discussions, he did mention the fact that the major political parties were involved mostly in vote buying. I think that was the major issue. It wasn't about suppression by security officials. It was about the attempted vote buying by the leadership of the big two, that's the Old Progressives, Congress, and the People's Democratic Party. And definitely where that happens, you know, it would always lead to some form of chaos and confusion at those polling centers. So definitely the security officials would always want to step in to ensure that that unsavory state of affairs did not continue. So what must have happened would be that in those centers where vote buying was very obvious, definitely the security services would have to intervene and send those people out of those polling units. So that would be the source of the accusations against security officials, because they did move in to stop the action of vote buying by the leadership of the two major political parties. So of course, you know, there would always be that exaggeration or distortions of the role of the security services at those polling units that you mentioned.
All right, Charles. We will, at this point, let you go. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the show today. And I guess by 10 o'clock, we'll go back live with you. All right, then. Thank you so much indeed. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, our coverage on the Edo elections will continue. Stay with us.